WWE dropped some major news early this morning in regards to SummerSlam. SummerSlam will be in Minneapolis in 2026 and will now be a two-night event. Yes, SummerSlam is getting the WrestleMania treatment. When, how, and why, and my opinion on all this right here on Off the Script. Also, a WWE Hall of Famer is requesting that Velveteen Dream get another chance in the world of professional wrestling. And Jim Ross has an emergency scare, rushed to the hospital, the latest health update on good old JR. All this and so much more right here on Off the Script. We will start with SummerSlam. I woke up this morning, texts from Jesse and a couple of other close personal friends of mine, and they text me, "Did you see this? Oh my God, look at this. What do you think of this?" And I'm like, let me open my eyes first and make myself a pot of coffee, and then I'll get to business as usual. But this is a major story, and I'm excited on one hand, and then I'm very apprehensive on the other. For the first time ever, WWE is taking SummerSlam and moving it from one night to two nights. SummerSlam will be a two-night event, just like WrestleMania, in 2026, and it will take place August 1st and August 2nd in Minneapolis, and this will take place at US Bank Stadium, which is the home of the Minnesota Vikings. Triple H, Paul Levesque, shared the news that the biggest party of the summer will now get even bigger. WWE 2026 SummerSlam will be the promotion's second premium live event to be hosted across two nights and follows in the footsteps of WrestleMania, which for the first time ever went to two nights in 2020, and that was a precaution in the wake of the COVID-19 pandemic. Fans obviously responded favorably to the idea, and WWE has kept WrestleMania as a two-night event despite all the COVID-related restrictions being lifted, and they are not looking back at all. This is the new norm. SummerSlam 2026 will quite literally be the biggest wrestling event in the history of Minneapolis, but it won't be the first. WWE held shows in SummerSlam 1999, Judgment Day 2005, Bragging Rights in 2010, and WWE TLC in both 2017 and 2019. Now, Minneapolis was very heavily rumored to get WrestleMania 41 until they did not, and WWE made the announcement that WrestleMania 41 will be moving to Las Vegas next year, leaving Minneapolis out in the dust, asking what happened. So this obviously is a make-good to Minneapolis for WWE going with Vegas over Minneapolis, which also now renders the question, everybody thought that Vegas was getting WrestleMania next year and Minneapolis was getting WrestleMania in 2025. So it looks like now that they're getting SummerSlam in 2026, the potential for WrestleMania in Minneapolis in 2025 completely went out the window. So we may be looking at Atlanta, New Orleans, Tennessee. WWE is looking at those particular areas. I heard Orlando is in the running as well for WrestleMania in 2025. My initial thoughts on this were I was excited to see this because the first thing that clicks in my mind is, all right, I'm a content creator. One night of SummerSlam obviously is great, but two nights is even better. So that means more time with you guys, more content for you guys, more revenue for me. I love it. I love it. It's great. I love the two-night events because I feel like it's just a huge wrestling weekend, and I love the energy, even when I'm home here, of the huge wrestling weekends. When I can't be there, I love it. I just love the energy. I love all the news and all the excitement that goes into it. WrestleMania has been unbelievable since they went to the two-night format. You get more on the show. It feels bigger. WWE obviously loves the fact that they could sell out a stadium consecutive nights. That ain't going anywhere. I love the fact that Triple H has adopted this takeover, NXT takeover black and gold model. Quality over quantity. We are not living in a day and age where WWE is booking fucking 8-hour shows anymore, like a SummerSlam or a WrestleMania. Triple H has adopted these NXT TakeOver style shows for the main roster now. WWE is doing maybe 5, at most 6 matches, and these pay-per-views don't last past 4 hours. Anywhere between 3 and 4 hours. Easily digestible, enjoyable. Everything that's on the show matters. Whatever is on the show feels even more important because everything is allowed time to breathe. They're not rushing into the next story. They're not rushing into the next match. The epic entrances WWE has put an emphasis on. Everything feels larger than life. That is what they're going for. I know a lot of people are very uncomfortable with this model. They don't really get it. They don't grasp it. I love it because it just keeps you invested and it has you wanting more. And that's what Triple H always did with NXT. He did 5 matches on TakeOver. And I'm sitting there at the end of the show. Man, I could go for another 2 hours of this. Man, I could go for another 2 or 3 matches of this. I can't wait to watch NXT on Wednesday when it was on the WWE Network. I couldn't wait to get back into watching television to see where these stories go and what new stories he brings to the table. This is great. A lot of people don't understand this. Oh, why is this person left off the show? Why is this story not being told? Why are they saving this? Why are they saving that? Why is this championship not being defended? Now you get this happening at SummerSlam where Triple H can play off all of the year's stories at WrestleMania, build new stories, and have those stories play out at SummerSlam over 2 nights, and everybody's going to be involved. That is a beautiful thing. A beautiful thing. We're not looking at SummerSlam having 5, 6 matches. Now you're going to get 6 matches each night. More people involved. More stories to be told. WWE making hand over fist more money than they ever imagined. This is going to be the model going forward. I love it. Everything about this is great. But I do have some reservations. And the first thing that pops into my mind is this going to be the new norm now for all of their Big 4 or Big 5 pay-per-views? Are we going to see the Royal Rumble go to 2 nights? Are we going to see Money in the Bank go to 2 nights? Are we going to see Survivor Series go to 2 nights? Because I could absolutely see WWE do a Royal Rumble on one night and a Royal Rumble on the other night. Men's on one night, women's on the other. I could see WWE do a women's Money in the Bank on one night, men's Money in the Bank on the other. I could see them do a women's War Games match on one night and a men's War Games match on the other. This could be the new norm. Do I want to see that? Personally, from me to you, no, I don't want to see it. And the reason why I don't want to see it is because WWE has adopted this model for WrestleMania. If you do that across all of your shows now, 5 or 6 times a year, the WrestleMania model, the 2-night special that you await every single year, 1 time a year, will not be special anymore. That should be reserved for WrestleMania. I am okay with it being at SummerSlam because SummerSlam has always had this essence of being the WrestleMania of the summer, and SummerSlam has never lived up to that. I don't know why you put any other event in the same sentence as WrestleMania because they will never be WrestleMania. Now WWE's adopted this model for SummerSlam, and they are legitimately now going to turn it into the WrestleMania of the summer. For the first time in forever, it's going to be the WrestleMania of the summer because it's going to be 2 nights, and it's going to be a huge event. I don't want to see this take place at the Rumble, Money in the Bank, Survivor Series, or any other show that WWE may be thinking about this because it's going to lose its special feeling. WWE's allowed to have another major stadium show and have it be over 2 nights. But I think this is the extent of it. I don't want to see any more than this. My other question is WWE getting ready to take major shows like SummerSlam now, not to say every year, but major shows like SummerSlam every year overseas? Is this going to be the first time that WWE takes a SummerSlam overseas since 1992 or any other show, a Royal Rumble, to an international market? I think we may be setting up for that. I think the first time that they'll do it would be WrestleMania over 2 nights. I do think WrestleMania in the next 5 years will have an international WrestleMania, but we could start to slowly see that bleed into a SummerSlam going overseas. We haven't had that, like I said, since 1992. SummerSlam, Wembley Stadium, Bret the Hitman Hart versus the British Bulldog for the Intercontinental Championship in the main event of that particular SummerSlam. Are we setting that up for WWE to take these Big 4, Big 5 shows potentially overseas, on any given time of the year? It's going to be a very interesting concept to see how they develop it. But WWE, the one thing that we all know is that they got money on the mind. If WWE is going to do anything, they're going to put themselves in a position to make money. WrestleMania is breaking and shattering records that I don't think would ever be broken. I didn't think WWE would ever be breaking the records that they're breaking now. They're making more money than ever in the history of that company. And the two-night format for WrestleMania is a testament to how people still want the product and people are still excited about the product. If you could take that and do it again for a big market, for SummerSlam, why not? Why not? WWE is in a position right now where these cities are giving them the building. These cities are bidding on WWE to be there because of the economic, the economic status that WWE brings to these particular states and cities. I mean, these cities and states are seeing record revenues themselves with WWE invading these cities and states for the entire week and making it a whole party. It really doesn't make any sense not to do it. But again, they need to tread carefully. You need to keep the format of 2 nights special. If you go and do it for everything else, the WrestleMania model will not be special anymore. SummerSlam, I'm okay with, and it ends there. If they want to do it for the Rumble and Survivor Series and Money in the Bank, that will be overkill. But I'm excited about, as a creator, I'm excited about this. As a fan, I'm excited about this. This is great. I don't know why anybody wouldn't be excited about this. Plus all the reasons that I said creatively and the mentality that Triple H has now taking over creative on the roster. 2 nights, 5 or 6 matches each. I love it. Imagine that. WWE is in a position business-wise where they can get away with this and make it make sense. Back in the day, this was foreign. Nobody would go for this. Now look at where they are. Look at the growth of the company. Look at the direction the company's going in. This is fantastic news. I love it. I'm very excited about it. Mark Henry, WWE Hall of Famer. He talked about Velveteen Dream and mentioned that the Velveteen Dream should get another chance in the world of professional wrestling. He was asked at the KNS WrestleFest. He discussed his picks when he was asked a question about if there was a possibility of a new nation of domination, who he would choose to be in the group. He says, Velveteen Dream over Trick Williams. He also mentioned Carmelo Hayes. He mentioned Bobby Lashley. And he mentioned the Velveteen Dream. Now, he praised Trick Williams. He feels like Williams was too well-liked for the group's dynamic and felt that Carmelo Hayes would probably fit the group better. He chose Velveteen Dream over Trick Williams. And he says, as his wild card pick, it's time to now give Patrick Clark a second chance in the world of professional wrestling. Number 1 draft pick, I'm going with Powerhouse Hobbs. Number 2, Omos. And then I would go Carmelo Hayes. And as much as I love Trick Williams, I think that Trick Williams is too liked. I want people that people don't like. I want Bobby Lashley. I want people that you just don't like them. And there's a lot of young guys that I think could hold up. But my wild card would probably be Velveteen Dream, would be Patrick Clark. I think it's time for a second chance. A lot of people in the world of wrestling love the talent. We're in a cancel culture that is justified as so. We need a cancel culture. But at some point, you got to have grace and forgiveness, and you got to see if that person is going to bury themselves again, because habitual line steppers, that's exactly who they are. Once they get that second chance and they're out, I ain't co-signing for you no more. But everybody needs their second chance. Now, we all know Patrick Clark's past controversies. In 2020, Clark faced allegations of sending indecent images to underage boys, which he denied. There was an investigation. He was found not guilty. During the Speaking Out movement in June 2020, further accusations emerged that he had inappropriate communications with underage individuals. WWE investigated but found no evidence of wrongdoing. He couldn't appear on NXT television without Fire Velveteen Dream trending on social media, and Velveteen Dream was released from WWE on May 20, 2021 after 5 months of inactivity. I'm not going to sit here and tell you how to feel, because I've talked about this once before. I'm not going to sit here and tell you how you feel, But Mark Henry is a very respectable figure in the world of pro wrestling, in the space of pro wrestling. And he's on and a part of the biggest podcast in the entire space with Busted Open Radio. For him to go out there and say he would give Patrick Clark a second chance, that opens up a whole bunch of doors for Patrick Clark, because everybody takes what Mark Henry says as value. Now, you could sit there and feel however you want to feel about Patrick Clark. You're entitled to feel however you want to feel. But I'm also entitled to feel how I want to feel, too. And being that we are in a situation where he's come out on Chris Van Vliet's platform and explained the entire story, because Chris isn't somebody that's going to allow bullshit on his channel to sully his name and his work. He allowed Patrick Clark on his platform, and he expressed himself in a very genuine way if you sat down and watched the video interview. Now, I would give him a second chance. Is everybody going to give him a second chance? No. Is it going to be difficult for him to wash away everything that happened in the past? Yes, it's going to live with him forever. But if he could showcase who he is now as a better person and correct those wrongs moving forward, why not give him a second chance? Why? I would love to see it, because the talent is clearly there, and I'm sure the talent is ready for a second chance, willing to be the person that we know he could be and break out so we could see how great he could have been, should have been. Same thing's happening with Tessa Blanchard right now. I don't know if you guys are watching what Tessa's doing in Mexico. She is getting back into the world of pro wrestling, and she is trying to be a better person as well. Yes, she could have apologized. Patrick did apologize. Tessa's a different story. I love to see Tessa back with a major promotion. I'd love to see Tessa's talents on the world stage, on a bigger platform. It's just what I want to see. I don't want to see these talents throw away their fucking talent and what they can offer us because of sheer stupidity. Everybody makes mistakes. You go through a learning process and you learn. Whether it's at your own pace, it could be a year, 2 years, 3 years. It doesn't matter. I would absolutely give Tessa and Velveteen Dream a second chance, but you are entitled to your opinion as well. If you don't want to see him, if you don't care for him, that's completely up to you. But Mark Henry saying it, I mean, that goes a long way with somebody as valuable as Mark Henry in the space. And Jim Ross, health scare with Jim Ross, visits the emergency room as of this morning because he had shortness of breath. He tweeted this morning, May 23rd at 9 a.m. Wrestling legend Jim Ross was hospitalized on Thursday morning in Norman, Oklahoma. 72 years old is Jim Ross. Says he was taken to the emergency room after having trouble breathing. He provided the following information on social media, citing shortness of breath. He says, unexpected trip to the ER in Norman this morning, shortness of breath. That is all for now. Now, Jim Ross has been with AEW since its inception, and once the lead announcer for AEW, he was there every week. His on-screen duties have since been scaled back in recent years. He's kept fans up to date on his various health ailments, including several falls and a courageous battle with skin cancer. Following his most recent surgery in 2024, JR returned to the commentary booth on March 3rd, 2024, to call Sting's retirement match at AEW Revolution, and he sounded fantastic. Jim Ross's contributions to wrestling are absolutely incredible. You know, arguably a part of the greatest commentary team of all time with JR and the King. I'm more of a Gorilla Monsoon and Bobby Heenan guy. But no matter how you look at it, man, wishing Jim Ross nothing but love and a speedy recovery, man. We love JR, and we want to see him back in good health, man. He seems to not be able to get his footing right, where he can just have a nice string of good health here. So here's to good health for JR and a speedy recovery from whatever he's dealing with right now. Guys, thank you very much for all your support. If you enjoyed today's upload, please let me know down below in the comment section what you think of a two-night SummerSlam and what you think of Mark Henry willing to give Velveteen Dream another chance in the world of professional wrestling. If you did enjoy the content, please hit that thumbs up and please consider subscribing. We are dangerously close to 160,000 subscribers. Make sure you guys follow me on social media at JD from NY206. That is on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, and Cameo. And make sure you guys go check out all the other content on the channel. We were live on Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. And you guys are getting content today on Thursday. Thank you for all the support. And until the next one, guys, have a great Thursday. And I'll see you right back here with more news on Off the Script.